Record.
Hello, folks, and welcome to today's welcome to the roundup of this year. And we are doing a live stream on the 17th of December. See the website for details if you want to watch that. And that will obviously tell you all the things you need to know. We've decided to do things in 3 parts this year. I've just contacted Scott Baldwin and said, is it okay if I do this as a first part and talk about me as DJ Megatron and not me as the station? I just want to clarify a few things. First of all, I am not leaving Temper Radio. I don't know what rumours people have read. I know some rubbish has gone into the Daily Villa over the past few weeks. I've taken a few weeks out due to the current situation, which I'm going to talk about towards the end. But I just wanted to just explain what's happening with me and shows. So I'm not leaving Temper Radio. I'm now going to another radio station, which is now, it's not secretive anymore. Another radio station, which is the sister radio station to Temper Radio. We're going to Kitchibs FM, which was the name of the nightclub. The office that we were having there needed money. We found that Temper Radio didn't really need an extra office. I mean, it does, but it's also got an extra studio and all that kind of stuff there. There are new production services as well, which is happening. But I haven't left Temper Radio as it has ever been. That's not how I do things. It's never how I've done things. I've never wanted to leave Temper Radio, but I just feel like Temper Radio isn't young and fresh anymore. In my mind, I think that the older days of Temper Radio are kind of, you know, it's like all the fun has got, it's like, it's, for me, Temper Radio has got tired. It's like a kid that stayed up for 7 days a week and had no rest. And I think that's happened with Temper Radio. It's not like I get up every day and I go rock and roll, because I do. That's, you know, I will never change as a person. But I think to get up every day and have that, the radio station being rock and roll, just hasn't had it for the past few years. The 10th year, the year we were supposed to be celebrating and partying, hasn't happened because of current situations and rules and regulations. And I am completely exhausted with doing event after event after event after event. I mean, personally, I didn't want to talk about it like that, but that's the way it's happened. The amount of politics that's happened over the past few months, which I'll talk about in another video. But I just think that, like, I've written an article I don't think people will have seen it because it's not out yet. Anyway, there's a video, an article which talks about the horrible politics. Actually, horrible is quite a blunt word. I'd say disgusting. The amount of things that me and Scott have had to go through. I mean, Jim Nightingale, my stepdad, managing the station. It's true, he doesn't want to manage it, but it's like, you can't have someone in there in the background and then try and bring them into the foreground when you feel like it. It's either they're either in the foreground or they're not. And I was on the phone to Scott saying, we run the station, but how, you know, we've just not sat down with people and discussed things. And so when we did Lockdown Festival, it was enough, and it wasn't, because it was like all these weekends were promoted, and then I wasn't there for the rest of it. It was like it didn't happen. You know, it might as well have never happened. But I think kind of
mic trigger, but mic lock button is on. Double tap to lock. Finish recording button.
I think those things have got to be said. I mean, I've never said those sort of things, but I don't know. I mean, I tried to stop the event. I was always on the phone, and Scott kept going, well, we've booked these people now. And I'm like, yes, well, you can unbook them. And Scott was going, well, it's not like that. And I was like, well, yeah, it is like that, because a lot of bands aren't going to want to do something. And so every time I said, don't do this, I mean, there were bands that didn't actually play, or there were bands that did play, and then they just, I don't know, they came back to do another half of a set. And I wasn't happy with the last write-up that it got, because there were things in there like, oh, well, you know. So, we, you know, and me and Scott, we can't even talk about Lockdown Fest without going, oh, well, why did this not happen? And why did this happen? And it's always a current. I mean, I can't look at the website because it's that terrible. The website that we made that was supposed to be good and it was supposed to have all the good in the world doesn't, because it's got all. I mean, the Daily Villa have written horrific. They've written absolutely horrific things. Everybody thinks it's wonderful and superb because they sugarcoated it to make everybody, you know. But to be honest, the thing that saddened me about all that was they said, because of overcrowded happenings, left about half the management ill. No, what happened was, my parents turned up from holiday, and my sister was ill, and then my stepdad was ill. But they didn't. The article didn't come out that way. It didn't. And this is. I mean, I hate the papers for this. But anyway, I'm not going to go on about the papers, because. But every time I sit down with Scott and say, we can't talk about the event, it's like, it's not like the past where, oh, well, this can't be discussed. Why can't it be discussed? Well, it can't be discussed. Oh, well, we'll discuss it anyway. It's not like that. We're not discussing it because it's like, oh, we're rebelling. It's not like, and this is the thing. This is what I don't like, the whole seriousness. Every time I sit down with Scott to go, right, let's talk about Lockdown Fest, he's going, and every time he does the same, I'm like that. So it's, neither of us can talk about it. It's, you know, because each time, and it's like Mike Swift was in one of the articles. It was like, well, Mike Swift has done this and blah, 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 and everyone's turned up to an event and so on. And, well, that actually didn't happen in the end. We can't talk about what did not happen, because it just, I don't know, it was like, well, I mean, we never explained what was going to happen anyway. I mean, the papers were riveling in it, because that's what they do. That's what they do. And in fact, right, you know, the Temperance Hall's been, we've not been to the Temperance Hall for ages. They wrote, leader of hot group Stepping Stones, what is it? Leader of this is what John Aswald wrote. I'll tell you what John Aswald wrote, because it's an absolutely disgusting article. Leader of Stepping Stones goes to Hall to, what was it? To do a show. And that's not what happened. Mike Swift went to do a clear out. And then there was another one involving, what was it? Cheryl was going to get a go-ahead on the next Lego stage gig. No, that didn't happen either. We'd booked a stage at the Temperance Hall for the Lockdown Festival, but we never spoke about it until someone got wind of it and did a bloody article about it, and so I don't like the Daily Villa at the moment. It's terrible. It's the Daily Villa is opened, and it's absolutely disgusting. All the articles. I mean, it was supposed to be an underground paper, but I absolutely hate it. I'd rather read open music. I'd rather fall off a stage and die alone. But anyway, so this is me saying, me as DJ Megatron. I as DJ Megatron. If nobody's with me on this, then please be with me, because I talk to people like this, right? The fun and frolic side of the radio has gone. All the seriousness has been rolled in. All the political stuff has rolled in. Because John Ashwood and his merry men, who now run the news team, have come in with disgusting comments. They're not even Scott's happy with. Now, it's only me and Scott that run the station. But John Ashwood's got the news team. Fair and square. I mean, that's, we're paying them to run the news team. And they're keeping the cellar going. They're keeping Temper Radio in the cellar, which is all good. And they're keeping all the other stuff alive. But there's just been some horrific stuff happening. I mean, like we pulled a lot of things. But anyway, so I'm not leaving the radio station. I'm going to be doing up to March the 4th next year. Oh no, it won't be March the 4th, but it'll be March anyway. Give me a minute. Someone keeps ringing the bloody bell.
Mic trigger. Mic lock. Finish recording. Mic lock. Button is on. Double mic lock. 2:52 p.m. Status bar item. Alarms 82% battery power. Not card loaded with hand washing song. Button. Mic trigger. Mic lock. Button is on. Mic lock. Mic lock. Button is on. Double.
Anyway, like I said, I don't really do this stuff by halves. This is the stuff that I wanted to talk about anyway. So, to the fun and frolic side of things. So I will be doing shows up till March. Breakfast shows, that is. And then after March, I'm doing the drive time with Battle Mix. DJ Monstrol is going to be presenter by March. And James is going to be the producer. No. Yes. Sorry, I got that wrong. So Monstrol's going to be a presenter and James is going to be a producer. And hopefully they'll work together. Even though James has had his show for a while, it's it was all me, Monstrol, and James, and Monstrol was a producer. But he hasn't done anything for a while, and so kind of getting him doing stuff. And he stays here in the cellar. He also keeps the cellar running. And then James, he's been coming in, keeping the studio well. And Tim Davis, who left last year, he didn't leave till he left in March, but he didn't leave properly because there was like food deliveries, and I think there was something, the tin stuff, parcel deliveries, and then there was the school meals in October. So he's actually gone now. He didn't leave till November, but I think it was a very, tricky time, you know. Well, you come in October and you go in November. Oh, but I mean, he got his send off anyway, but he kind of had to come back again to do all of that and then left. And we basically said, well, we're going to have to do all that stuff ourselves. But anyway, that's something that we'll discuss in the next stream, because so anyway, that's that. Christmas arrangements. I'm going to be on the Christmas Day show, but I'm not going to be on it, if that makes any sense. The joint shows, well, all right, I'm going to discuss this because, again, this is another hurdle that we're going to mention in quite a lot of things anyway. I'm not going to be on the Christmas Day show this year. I want to have a quiet Christmas Day anyway. This year, I want to have it fun and frolic. I haven't. Before anybody thinks I've gone mad, and I want a quiet life. Balls to that, but you know, I kind of it's going to be difficult to do what we've been doing for the past 10 years. So I will be on the Christmas Day show. I will be doing New Year's Eve this year. I've said that I would do it, so I'm doing that. DJ Megatron in the house. We'll be DJ Megatron in the house, but I think the thing is, like, again, the big weekends have gone absolutely overboard. And the thing that's made me exhausted with these events is, like, they're not external, they're internal. And I'd rather people on the phone asking, Megatron, where's the equipment, Megatron? I mean, we've not been doing on call at all. We've got rid of that. The studio closes at 11. It's not open till all the way through the night. Because I've ordered it. I've said, look, the studio closes at this time. You know, there's even a curfew, there hasn't been a curfew on that studio since, when do we have a curfew on there? The curfew got lifted in, well, we had a curfew in there in 2011, and it got lifted in, 2012. And it got lifted in 2013. So we had a curfew, it got lifted in 2013 or 2014. And now it's sort of back to what it was before, where people have to be out the studio. If they're here, they have to be out the studio by 11 o'clock at the latest. And because DJ Monstro's here, he needs his rest. It's like 11:15. You know, it's like people aren't in the studio till 1 or 2 in the morning anymore. Those days are, thankfully, they've gone. They've gone. I mean, we want them back. We want the studio to be open round the clock again. You know, we want people in here till 1 in the morning, 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning. We want that to happen, but unfortunately, because of current situation, we can't have, you know, and it's like, well, we can't have people on, you know, we can't have people on the grounds. We can't have people, like, car park. I mean, I've been doing car park for the last few months with Scott. So it's me and Scott been doing it. And we've just said, screw it. You know, the people on the car park, they'll stay on that car park. The other people in the other car park, when the gates close, that's it. No, oh well, you know, when the gate stays open or whatever, and then somebody can book this time on or whatever, and they can book that off. No, the office closes round the back. That closes quite early now. That closes at 7 at the latest, I think. That closes. So anyway, but because of happenings and issues, this year's been kind of. I personally, I've not wanted to do anything. That's not me. Oh, I'm going to be late for this meeting. But so anyway, that's what's happening. We've got the what is it? The studio's changing. You know, and you know, we're doing the brand new websites and stuff. But I will be on Christmas Day. I'll be on the joint show, and I will, you know, you will hear a joint show. You will hear me, James, and Monstral in the morning. You will hear Scott Boldham. You will hear everybody on the air. You just won't hear what you've heard for the last... I mean, we haven't done the Advent calendar this year. I said to James and Monstral, don't do it, because how are you going to do it, you know? But, you know, so Christmas Day is going to be done this year. Boxing Day is going to be done. I don't know how people are going to do their shows, because it's just one of them. I mean, Temper Radio won't fold as much as we can. We've done a lot of external things over the years. And I'm proud of Temper Radio. I'm going to say now, I'm proud of what I've done for Temper Radio. I'm proud of what I've done for it. I think without me, there would be no Temper Radio. I remember when it first launched in March of 2010. And I remember all the things that we said we were going to do. When we came into the cellar, we went from being in the bedroom to actually coming into the basement and, you know, doing Cellar Festival for the first time in 5 years. I remember when we did it, you know, and I also remember little things like you know, having live bands in here and all that really, really cool stuff, which we did. I mean, and we've decided next year to have more sessions than ever before. We've got a lot of plans, production over the next month or so. There's a panto which we're rehearsing, which is going out in January. I don't think we're going to have that on Christmas Eve now. So that's happening. I mean, Christmas happens. It's got to happen, you know? No, I mean, okay, there's no Christmas dinners or parties or whatever. But we can still have tradition. You know, we can still have Christmas Day, Christmas dinner. But it's like the breakfast show team, we don't meet up as much as we have been doing. We started that back up in, I'm trying to think when I started back with James to read. I think, was it before Christmas? I can't remember when we started, but we started we started the breakfast show up just before Christmas, and it was just me and Monstrel, I think. I think we did mid-mornings, I can't remember. I'd have to look back. But we did, with James to read, we did do stuff just the end of last year, but really, I was enjoying all that, because we were getting to, me and James and Monstrel, we were having an absolute great time, and then all of a sudden, lockdown happened, and it was like, well, and me and Monstro were like, what are we going to do for the show today, and how are we going to do this, and stuff like that. And like the last couple of months, I've just spent lying in a chair thinking, no, I haven't done that at all, but I think, it just hasn't been what it has been. And the life I've breathed into the station over the years. I mean, I've listened to the first Temper Radio show we did as Temper Radio, and it's strange, I mean, I even found the very last few shows we did as TNT FM, kind of because I only kept all the good shows. I didn't keep any rubbish shows. But the last few shows of TNT FM, you could tell the beginnings of a brand new station was happening or emerging. Because TNT FM was no more. I mean, we had some fun being TNT FM. But, it was kind of, technology was getting better. It was like in 2005, we'd found we'd worked out how to pre-record shows, and once we'd done all that, once we thought, right, we can play out a pre-recorded show and get away with it, once we can play a pre-recorded show and get away with it on a cassette, and we decided, well, we can do that. And so the last year of TNT FM, we thought, well, let's move into a different studio. Let's have a different setting. Let's do more. Let's play around with technology and production. And we did. And I look back and it's strange. And it's like all the old days. It's like the things that we didn't talk about, we've talked about, oh, look at how, the image of the station, what it would have been back then, it's how it is now. The fancy studio with its, mirrors on the wall and fancy gym and fancy this. And it's thinking, gosh, it took about 10 years because we had a bar and a studio and there were never like pre-drinks done or anything ludicrous like that. But there was, some memories that I had, or fond memories of the station. And then we started going out and about. We started going, Parenting 2000 and The Clack. And I've listened to those shows, compared it and thinking, wow, how did we do that? How did we have the technology to go out and do all this cool stuff. And then we started recording all the gigs and all the DJ gigs, and how did that all happen, you know? Things like Chapel Street and all that. I mean, that was really cool that we could actually go out on the road and show off Temper Radio, take the studio on the road. That was a challenge, really, for everybody. Not just for me and Monstrov, everybody on board that did that, because, you know, it was one of those things. We'd never done that before. We'd never done a road show as Temper Radio. It was a brand new beginning. It was like chapters were still unfolding for us. And now we've done a lot of road shows. We did a couple last year, and we did the Halloween road show, then the Christmas road show, and then we did the crumbs. What else did we do? I can never remember what we haven't done. So we did, that's right, the Christmas road show. And last year was a big year. You know, you look at like things like Jeff Fest and all of that, and it was a huge year in terms of Temper Radio. This year has been a huge year, but not really for Temper Radio. I mean, there hasn't been any festivals or anything amazing, and that's why we've decided, let's make a change now, radically, you know. I mean, because let's add something else bring something else to the table that will change things. I mean, we haven't done a lot of analog stuff for a long, long time. We've done digital stuff, and hopefully there's a few YouTube videos coming out pretty soon. And there's Scott's doing his thing with Temper Extreme. We're doing our thing with Temper Extreme. And then, you know, we're doing meetings now every week. We're doing lots of things. We're bringing stuff to the table. There's the newspaper, which I mentioned before. The Daily Villa has come back. And it's like the 20 years of Temper Radio. Would be here all night talking all the things that we've done. But it's like, I can listen to the old shows and enjoy them. I can listen to the new shows and enjoy, you know, some of the last things that I did with Monstrol and James Street, but I like listening to the old stuff, you know, even gone as far back and even larking about in the studio going, oh, but I remember even when we prepared a show, me and Monstrol, we'd prepare a show, and I listened to the shows that were prepared thinking, gosh, did we prepare that? And even if when we went off the script, I was like, gosh, that was prepared, or it must have been prepared. I can never remember. You know, but it was like we would go off the script, and when we started doing all that again, it's like I remember we had the whiteboard in the studio for a little bit, and I'd have the script written out, and I'd go, right, so we're doing educational stuff today, you know, and you know, and it's like, oh, you know, but a lot of that was experimenting with something. So we'd go, oh, do you know, because we'd have a few drinks over the weekend in the pub, and then we come back to, you know, Monday morning show. If we were going to do something live, we didn't know if it was going to go wrong or not. So we did bring a lot of things to the table, and I think coming down here, a brand new setting, did bring not just new things to the table, new technology, new sound, a new way of doing things, new challenges. We did have a lot of new challenges. You know, and it's going back and listening to those old days again. You know? There's some things I can hardly believe that we did. You know, but we did them. And still, the breakfast show is getting talked about by a lot of people, the old shows had a lot of talk because we would go out and talk, you know, about all the old shows and stuff. And you know, I mean, 2010, we partied that whole year. We partied the whole entire year. You know, no one would ever believe it now, but we partied the whole entire year. Now, there are a few things that I'm going to throw out, a few spoilers. Temper Radio isn't going anywhere anytime soon. For those people who think it is, it's not. It's just a lot of changes that are being made. We don't no longer have the Radio 1 sound that we used to have. We used to listen to Radio 1 and what was the other one that was out? Real Radio, which is now Heart. And we thought, let's do this and let's do that, you know. Let's do this for the elderly and let's do this for the young. And we found it very difficult to balance it. But our radio shows were really, really upbeat for a long, long time. And that's what gave it that young thrill. We had a very bumpy ride with some of the older shows. Which for me, personally, I quite enjoy. Now, I'm going to leave on a note and say I've enjoyed the 20 years that I've been here at Temper Radio. And I'm not leaving, but I just want to look back and say all the great years. All the memories I've had with Monstrel. I mean, I remember when we first met, and I didn't think we were ever going to get on. Because I'd worked with Battle Mix for 2 years. I worked with him from 2004 to 2005. And I just got to know Battle Mix. And it was like, you know, oh, I'm leaving you, so to speak. And he did leave the station for a little while. And then Monstrel came in. And it was like, whoa, you know, hello, brother. And the door burst open. And, well, we were way to go. And I don't know who took who under what wing, but...
Mic trigger. Mic trigger. Mic lock. Finish recording.